Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Surprise Jab Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Ruger, surprising you with new topics every single week and jabbing you with your daily dose of UFC. And it was a good weekend for UFC. We were able to get a pretty decent event. We were down in Brazil. I mean, wherever you're listening from. Brazil could be to the left, to the right, below you, above you. I don't know, but it was an interesting card, to say the least. Some things we expected, some things we didn't, some ups, some downs. We're going to be covering all of that later when we recap UFC Sao Paulo. But so much fun stuff to talk about on today's episode. Going to be another good episode. I did have to cut some stuff out of it because I actually did have some stuff planned, but we're going to save that for our 40th episode special. That's right, episode 40. We'll be dropping this Thursday. Going to be a good one. Happy to be bringing episodes every single week. 2 episodes every single week, usually, sometimes 1, rarely none. That could be a catchphrase right there. How's that sound? Bringing you 2 episodes each week, sometimes 1, but never none, but rarely 1. Oh no, we can work it out. We can work into it a bit. Week 9 of the NFL just about complete as well. We're going to be talking all about all the action that's gone down, including Thursday's game between the Steelers and the Titans. We'll mention that, all the games on Sunday, before tonight's game between the Chargers and the Jets in New York. Really need Justin Herbert to turn up, do something good. Actually, I'm playing Justin Herbert in 2 leagues. I have him in a league, so it's an awkward situation. I just hope the Chargers win because in my pick'em pool, I am sadly it all comes down to this. I either don't tie and what was it? Me and I think I need the Chargers to win so I can tie, so then I don't have to pay money this week. But if the Jets win, then I do have to pay money this week. But because I'm trying to win the pick'em pool. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. On the year, guys, we have gotten 72 correct predictions. I don't have the incorrect total, but we are coming off a crazy 14-16 week in week 8. But as for week 9, we have only gotten 7 correct. We have sadly gotten 6 wrong. So not my best performance, but we'll definitely rally. Also going to be talking about episode 1 of Invincible, the Gen V finale. Episode 5 of Loki, still got to watch. We'll mention that. Check out the NBA, UFC news, college football. I mean, we talk about all sorts of stuff here on the Surprise Jab Podcast. Happy to be here. So we're going to be kicking things off. Actually, before I begin, my management presentation is tomorrow. I got my suit already. I did have to FaceTime my dad on how to tie a tie. Tying ties are not as easy as I thought. I mean, you see everyone with them looking all spiffy, looking all slick, and honestly, it's not as easy as they make it out to be. But nonetheless, I was able to learn, so hopefully tomorrow's presentation goes well. I might try and get it on video, maybe share some clips on the story or something. We'll see. But yes, next week, episode 40, or next episode, not next week, later in the week, we're going to be ranking my top 10 trilogies. Did want to do that today, but I don't really have a list set together. I have my best trilogy. I have like 2 or 3 that I know I want to be on there, but I want to make it a good list before I share it. Instead, we're going to be kicking things off with what we always kick things off with, and that is new UFC news. We're the Surprise Jab Podcast. We surprise you with all the new fights, and we're jabbing you. I mean, that's just what we do. But so many announcements. It's just been crazy. Earlier in the day while I was at the gym, Dana White decided to drop a 19-second video announcing the first 3 pay-per-view headliners of 2024, and it's already looking just as big, if not bigger, than all the years we've seen in the past. UFC 297, Sean Strickland will be defending his middleweight championship against Dricus du Plessis. Sean Strickland just beat Israel Adesanya at UFC 293 for the belt. As for Dricus du Plessis, just knocked out Robert Whittaker over the summer. Yeah, wow. UFC 290 in July. Going to be Sean Strickland's first title defense and Dricus du Plessis' first shot at getting a belt. Dricus rides an 8-fight win streak. I mean, just absolutely crazy. Of his 20 victories, 19 by finish. That's just absolutely incredible. As for Sean Strickland, coming off the huge, just massive upset of Israel Adesanya. I believe he's on a little 3-fight win streak. He's beaten Nazardine. He's beaten who else has he beaten? Sean's beaten Abush Magomedov and, of course, Adesanya. A lot of people were thinking he was going to be fighting Khamzat Chimaev, but it turns out he's not going to be doing that. Probably someone else will be going down for Khamzat Chimaev, who's currently ranked number 9 at middleweight for the men. As for elsewhere on the UFC 297 card, Mayra Bueno Silva will be taking on Hawkwayel Pennington for the vacant Women's Bantamweight Championship. Hawkwayel is currently ranked number 2. Mayra is currently ranked number 3. Going to be interesting to see how that one goes. Just glad the Women's Bantamweight is going to be filled in. Amanda Nunes has left a gaping hole with no star talent. I mean, quite honestly, Mayra Bueno Silva, Hawkwayel Pennington are the top 2 ladies in the weight class. I mean, number 1 contender Julia Pena hasn't fought since 2022. When did she last fight? Actually, it was in the summer of 2022 is when she last fought. So it has been a long time coming for Julia Pena to fight. I assume maybe we match her up with Holly Holm, Irene Aldana, do something with her. My goodness, but yeah, Hawkwayel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva. And another fight that's being rumored for UFC 297 is a light heavyweight rematch between number 4 ranked Jan Blachowicz, the Poland Power, and number 5 ranked Alexander Rakic. I forgot where Alexander Rakic is actually from. Now that I've mentioned it, I mean, he's just he got injured in May of 2022 against Jan Blachowicz, actually hurt his leg, but he is hopefully going to be coming back. I can't remember exactly where he's from, but he's from a European country, and he is super, super talented. Of his 14 victories, 9 by knockout, 1 by submission. So Rakic is the man. Happy to have him back, and happy to see Jan Blachowicz hopefully returning back. That Toronto card is looking good. We were all thinking Alexander Volkanovski was supposed to be taking on Ilia Topuria on that card. That fight's actually going down at UFC 298 in February, according to Dana White. Volkanovski, your current featherweight champion. Ilia Topuria, the number 5 contender, but in reality, he's the number 1 contender. The last guy he beat was just ranked number 5. Ia finally getting his title shot, and Volk going to be making a little turnaround after getting knocked out by Islam Makhachev in October. I don't know. I don't know how that one's going to go. I'm a big Ilia Topuria fan. I really want to see Volk come back and do something, but I'm feeling like this could be the end of Volkanovski's reign. I'm sorry, guys. I know Ilia Topuria is just so good. I'm probably going to ride with him, but we'll see. We'll see UFC 298. No location yet, but going down in February. And for our March pay-per-view, still don't know if UFC 300 is going to be in the end of March or in April. I'm thinking April at this point. But UFC 299, Sean O'Malley will be taking on number 6 ranked Marlon Vera. His first title defense, the rematch. The only man to ever beat Sean O'Malley is Petr Yan. No Marlon Vera. I accidentally clicked on Petr Yan's name on the ranking sheet. Marlon Chito Vera, 21-8-1, 8 wins by knockout, 8 wins by sub, 7 first-round finishes. Oh my gosh, this guy's been a UFC legend. And in 2020, he became the first man to ever beat and finish Sean O'Malley. Sean's been itching to get that rematch. Now he's got the belt. He calls the shots. That's what's going to be next. I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped to see that matchup. I'm hopefully all these fights are able to stay together. But yeah, keeping the ball rolling. It's just been a good run for Sean O'Malley. Wins the belt over Aljamain, gets his rematch. I love it. My early predictions. Probably going with Sean O'Malley over Marlon Vera. Probably going with Ilia Topuria over Volkanovski. And probably going with Dricus du Plessis over Sean Strickland for all the big headliners. In some smaller news, I've been hearing some rumblings that Song Yadong is actually going to be on the UFC Shanghai card December 9th. He'll be taking on number 14th ranked Chris Gutierrez. Song is ranked number 7. He's originally supposed to be the main event. That fell through. Of course, the new main event is rumored to be a middleweight clash between number 12 ranked Nasruddin Imavov and number 7 ranked Roman Dolidze. But I'm very happy to have Song Yadong on the card because I love Song Yadong, such a talented fighter, and it was a shame seeing that his fight got canceled. But hopefully that fight can come to fruition. I was trying to find the source of where I got that because I swore there was another little announcement that was made. It came from the MMA Matchmaker. Source was so apparently the Song Yadong is supposed to be the the main event. I have no idea then. I don't know what the main event's going to be, I suppose. Well, I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. My goodness, I thought it was set. I thought it was set in stone what was going on. I guess nothing was set in stone. Now I'm just confused. But yeah, Song Yadong will be there. The UFC Shanghai card, actually, prelims start at 4 a.m. Central, main card at 7 a.m. Central. So we're going to be waking up early on December 9th. Hopefully I don't go too hard the night before so I can actually watch UFC Shanghai. But we look ahead this week to UFC 295. Cannot wait to talk about all those fights. The big fights between Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka for the vacant light heavyweight championship, and a matchup between Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall for the interim light heavyweight championship. Those are just going to be two absolute wars. So pumped for both of those fights. We're going to be talking about all that later on in the week, but stay tuned for that. But yeah, big fights being announced. Happy to be covering it all. UFC 297 in Toronto, Canada. Can we bring an event to Minnesota, please? Can we, please? I mean, we're going to Canada. Why can't we at least come to Minnesota? Me and my Minnesota friends, we would like to go to a UFC event. Would really much appreciate that. In the sports world, just in general, we'll do our little NBA check-in where we check in on the rosters, or not the rosters, just the standings. As of right now, the Boston Celtics are still undefeated, 5-0. The win streak continues in second in the Eastern Conference. 76ers are 4-1, Hawks 4-2, Magic 4-2. Bucks are at 3-2. Number 5 team Wizards at the bottom, 1-4. 3-game losing streak. In the Western Conference, Nuggets are at the top now, 6-1 on a 2-game win streak. Mavericks 5-1, Warriors 5-2, Pelicans 4-2, and the Timberwolves at 3-2 have worked their way up to the number 5 spot in the rankings. I don't know how long that will last, but Grizzlies 1-6 now. Every NBA team has a win now. Even if they suck, they still have a win. But the Celtics still doing it, 5-0. I'll be interested to see how the Clippers turn out with James Harden landing there. They're currently 3-2. I believe he's going to be playing his first game with Kawhi, with Paul George, with Russell Westbrook. I mean, that's just a loaded lineup. That's going to be such a fun team to watch. Even though I don't really watch the NBA, I'm pretty sure the only time I check it is whenever I am on the podcast, and I'm just thinking like, oh yeah, let me just look at the roster real quick. But hey, there's that in my fantasy basketball leagues. I think I'm 2-0 in my random league and 0-1 in the one with my friends. But you know what? I have a good time with that. I really do. It is pretty fun, especially since I don't know too much about NBA. I used to be a way bigger fan back when I actually played back in like elementary school, start of high school. So I kind of gotten out of it, but I mean, NBA is still the NBA. It's one of the big 4 sports leagues. And actually, let's check on the NHL for all my NHL fans. I'll give you all a little. We'll take a little look at the rankings right now. Bruins at the top of the Atlantic Division, 9-1-1. Wow, very impressive record from them. Stars are ahead of the Central, 7-2-1. Wild are 4-5-2. 7th in the Central Division. Metropolitan Division, Rangers are 8-2-1, looking pretty dominant. Golden Knights atop the Pacific and atop the entire NHL at 11-1-1. And the San Jose Sharks are 0-10-1, an 11-game losing streak while they are yet to win. Holy cow. Is any team even close to being that bad? No, not even. Wow. Every team besides them has at least 2 wins. Oilers are 2-7-1. Wow. That's crazy. 11 games in, your team hasn't even won. I don't even know what to make of that. But Bruins, Golden Knights, out to a hot start. So are the Rangers, honestly. Rangers, honestly, not looking too bad. If I ever get Jaden and Cole back on, we can definitely mention the talk more about the NHL. They're my NHL experts. That's where I get all my NHL news from. Speaking of things kicking off, things coming to an end, the season finale of Gen V, me and my friend, my roommate Seth, we watched it this weekend. I think we watched it Friday, and boy, did it not disappoint. Absolutely crazy. Definitely going to lead directly into the boys. So, spoiler warning for anyone that hasn't seen it. I doubt anyone that's listening to this hasn't seen it or cares enough to have a spoiler warning, but I mean, basically, I'm trying to recall what happened, but basically the kids, the main group, Marie, the bloodbender, you had Sam, who was Golden Boy's brother or whatever, the girl that shrinks, I mean, you had the one gender-changing person, the one lady that lies, or not lies, that can read minds. What's his name? Polarity's son. Can't believe I watched the whole season and I just cannot remember the names. That's what happens when you go a full week without seeing episodes. That's why I like when I can binge stuff. I can watch it whenever I want. I feel like then I remember names more. But yeah, basically they who is it? The blonde chick whoever's hand she touches, she can tell them what to do. She breaks down into the woods, which is like where they were hiding all of the soups and are the ones that they were testing the virus on. They bring her. She goes down there, frees everyone. They go out and she says basically kill all non-soups. They start going to warn Ashley from The Boys, the PR lady from VOT. She's there on campus doing like a meeting, and they start getting attacked. And she calls in, spoiler warning here, Homelander. Homelander makes an appearance, absolutely crazy. You think he kills Marie to end the episode. Turns out he doesn't. Do that. And Marie, the one lady who shrinks, Polarity and the gender changing, whatever that person, Jordan, that's his name, whatever, that's their name, if you want to say that. They're all in like some, what am I trying to say? Some doorless, some windowless room, just like, where like people, they put straitjackets in, but with no door. So there's nowhere to go. Homelander's watching from a TV. He had a badass line, blasted people with his eyes. I mean, Homelander, one of the best anti-heroes or whatever, a hero, who knows what he is, but super cool seeing him. And then the post-credit scene, you see Billy Butcher down in the woods looking for stuff. He drops his iconic diabolical C-word line. Gotta love Billy Butcher. I don't know when the 4th season of The Boys is going to come out, but I hope it comes out soon because it is so freaking good. Love The Boys. The show similar to The Boys, animated show on Amazon Prime as well, is Invincible. The 2nd season debuted all's well with their first episode. Super good. Loved seeing Invincible Mark doing his thing, back to his ways. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was just the typical intro back into the new season. There was like this new guy that like portal shifts. I think they're going to dive into the multiverse, but not like multiverse with like alternate versions of them, just alternate scenarios. Like it started off with a scenario where Mark and Omni-Man teamed up. So Invincible and Omni-Man were taking over the world and stuff and about to bring them into the Viltrum Empire. But yeah, Mark in the normal universe, still cool. Invincible's awesome. And they kept teasing us with the title card. If no one remembers from season 1, whenever they went to say Invincible's name for the first time, the title card would be shown and some blood would splatter on it. But now, it ended the episode with it. They kept teasing us. They kept saying Invincible at multiple points, which I thought is a super cool addition for this season. But yeah. Basically, episode ends with the blue guys, who are they? The Basher twins or whatever. The clones, whatever they are, they basically get like kidnapped through a portal by this guy who says he wants to help Mark, help Invincible, but instead he becomes deformed. Well, he tries to like absolve like all different versions of him into his head. It's super weird. He like has like a giant brain now. It looks absolutely gross. Who knows what's going on with all that? But no Omni-Man in this episode. But hey, I'm here for it. 8 episodes of it. Should be running into January or December. I can't really remember. I think it's going to run to December. I'm here every Friday to watch it. I really got to take notes though. Really got to take notes because I can't really remember. I really like when they do like the recaps before the episodes because sometimes I forget everything that's going on. Such as for Loki, because Loki episode 5 came out last Wednesday it was. I'm yet to watch it. I might actually watch it with dinner tonight because I probably should. It's been a mediocre season. I haven't been that involved in it. Marvel's been really lacking lately, and the season 2 finale is going down literally on frickin' Wednesday. I mean, such a short season, 6 episodes. So I'll have to watch it, give my thoughts on it, but hey, it is what it is. Loki's Loki, but MCU's been lacking. I have no plans to see the Marvels. And there was a time I was all about watching Marvel shows, Marvel everything. But now, no. Now there's no real interest in it anymore. It's become so dull, unfortunately, but hey, that's just how it goes. What's not been dull has been the college football just college football in general, this whole season, this whole year, everything's been super interesting. And we're back with a new updated top 25. I always enjoy looking at the top 25 every week when it updates, seeing all the changes. So without a doubt, let's go over them all. We got 25 teams. We'll see who's currently in the college football playoffs. At number 25, undefeated still, 9-0, Liberty Flames. Finally threw them in there. They weren't ranked at all this season, but you're 9-0 now. You got to put them in the rankings. In Week 10 this past week, defeated Louisiana Tech 56-30. Flames are 9-0 for the first time in program history, thanks to 4 touchdown passes from their star QB, Caden Salter. They'll play Old Dominion next Saturday at 1. Liberty, it's good for them. Very good for them. I always like seeing these teams that are not really known, like the Liberty Flames for football, and they're doing their thing. They're 9-0, and they get some recognition in the top 25. At number 24, we got a basketball school here, the North Carolina Tar Heels. 7-2, they were not ranked last week. One time they were in the rankings, but not anymore after just having a decent year. They defeated the irrelevant Campbell University 59-7. Drake May threw for 4 touchdowns, basically in a get-well game following consecutive 4-point losses to Virginia and Georgia Tech, which completely derailed the season. Good for UNC, but you guys are a basketball school. At number 23, not ranked last week, the Arizona Wildcats, another basketball school. I'd say I feel like the Arizona Wildcats are a basketball school. They defeated UCLA 27-10. Arizona is actually the second team ever to win 3 consecutive games against AP-ranked opponents while being unranked in all 3. The Wildcats are actually now bowl eligible for the first time since 2017. They'll play Colorado next Saturday. Colorado, the stint with Deion Sanders clearly has not worked out well. They gained a lot of popularity. They started off 2-0, 3-0 this season, but since then have kind of derailed, no longer ranked. But yeah, Arizona 6-3 on a little 3-game win streak against AP top 25 teams. At number 22, we have Notre Dame. They were previously ranked 12 last week, a huge 10-spot drop-off. They lost to Clemson 31-23, and Sam Hartman, the Giga Chad-looking QB, is now 0-5 in his career against Clemson. The first Power 5 starting QB to go 0-5 against a single opponent since Florida State's Chris Ricks did against Miami. They'll play Wake Forest November 18th at 3:30. Look, Sam Hartman, he's a stud with his great jawline, his flowy hair, his beard. But Notre Dame, you guys have fallen off, man. You were in the top 10, and now you're 22. At number 21, one of my favorite teams of this season, James Madison Dukes, the James Madison Dukes from James Madison University. They were ranked 23 last week. They're now ranked 21. They're a perfect 9-0 after they defeated Georgia State 42-14. And it was Jordan McLeod's second game of the season with multiple passing touchdowns. Their QB and rushing scores. He got 4 through the air and 2 on the ground, 6 total. They'll play UConn next Saturday at 2 p.m. My goodness, I love this James Madison team. They're 9-0. They're actually not even eligible to be in, I think, the college football playoffs for some reason. I don't know why. I saw that somewhere. So I think it's funny that they've been killing it this year, but can't even make the championship. At number 20, jumping up a spot from 21 last week, the 8-1 Tulane Green Wave. They defeated East Carolina 13-10. Now, it was their fewest points in a win since 2014. Back in 2014, they beat UConn 12-3. But nonetheless, Tulane got it done against East Carolina. They'll play Tulsa at noon next Saturday. But you know what? The Tulane Green Wave, 8-1 season. Good football program for you guys this year. Good for you. Jumping up 3 spots from 22 last week, we at number 19, we got the Kansas Jayhawks. They're 7-2, defeated Ohio State last week, 28-21, and they actually clinched their first ever 7-win season since 2008. In 2008, they went 8-5, their best year since then. Has been this year. They'll play Texas Tech next Saturday, but yeah, just another basketball school. But Kansas, super popular. Nothing to do in the vicinity. I actually had a professor who went to Kansas. Told us there's not much to do out there, but Kansas Jayhawks, y'all got some good sports teams. Dropping 5 spots from 13 to 18 now is the LSU Tigers. Lost to Alabama 42-28. 6-3, Jaden Daniels threw for 219 yards and 2 scores while rushing for 163 yards and an additional score before leaving the game following a Dallas Turner hit. Tough loss for the LSU Tigers. At least you got baby Gronk and Livy Dunn. And Joe Burrow will forever have that amazing year with you guys. And what was that, 2018? Something like that, 2018, 2019. I can't really recall, but good stuff for the LSU Tigers. Still being in the rankings at least. They play Florida next Saturday, but man, tough luck for them. At number 17, dropping 7 spots from number 10. Oh, this was a tough one. The Oklahoma Sooners. They lost to Oklahoma State 27-24 this past weekend. They're now 7-2. This was actually the first game of the season that their QB, Dylan Gabriel, had multiple turnovers and was not responsible for multiple touchdowns. They'll play West Virginia next Saturday, but Oklahoma, there's a chance you could have made the college football playoffs, but no more. No more will you make it. You're sadly out. And you're out of the top 10, which is brutal. Dropping 2 spots, I should say, is the Missouri Tigers. They were 14 last week. They're 16 this week. 7-2 on the year. They did lose to Georgia 30-21. Cody Schrader rushed 22 times for 112 yards, making him the first player to rush for more than 100 yards against Georgia since Kentucky's Chris Rodriguez Jr. did it on Halloween Day of 2020. They'll play Tennessee next Saturday, so no easy going for the Missouri Tigers. I think some chick who was a couple years older than my grade in high school actually went to Missouri. That's all I know about Missouri, but out of the top 15. Kicking off the top 15 is a team that wasn't even ranked last week, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. OSU weren't ranked last week. They defeat Oklahoma 27-24, get their spot in the rankings, 7-2 on the year. The Cowboys have actually won 2 of the final 3 Bedlam matchups after winning only 2 of the first 16 in Coach Mike Gundy's tenure. They'll be playing UCF next Saturday. Going to be a good one. Good for Oklahoma State. At number 14, moving up 5 spots from last week, is the Tennessee Volunteers, 7-2. They blew out UConn 59-3. I mean, it didn't even look like a game. It looked just like, it's like you were playing your younger brother who doesn't know how to play Xbox in Madden, and you're just destroying him. Thanks in part to 3 defensive touchdowns, the Vols won their 13th consecutive home game, third longest FBS streak behind only Georgia and Michigan. It's Tennessee's longest home streak since it won 23 in a row from 1996 to 2000. They'll play Missouri next Saturday. Should keep it rolling. Good stuff from Tennessee. Good in basketball, good in football. At number 13, jumping up 5 spots, we got the Utah Utes. 7-2, they defeated Arizona State 55-3. Wow, what a blowout. What an absolute blowout. Bryson Barnes completed 19 of 28 passes for 161 yards and a career-high 4 touchdowns. They'll play Washington next Saturday, so a tough one for the Utes. But you know what? You guys have been having a good year, and now you're ranked in the top 15. How about that? At number 12, it's been a sad fall from grace for the Oregon State Beavers, but they did defeat Colorado 26-19, derailing the hype train yet even more. They were ranked 16 last week, so jumping up 4 spots. They're 7-2, and they've actually started 7-2 for the first time since 2012, and they actually ran that streak of rushing. They have a streak of rushing for at least 125 yards to 23 consecutive games, the third longest streak in college football. They'll play Stanford next Saturday, but yeah, you know what? Good for you guys. Oregon State Beavers. Not much goes on in Oregon, I won't lie. I know there's some mysterious happenings that go on up there, but nothing I know of. Jumping up 4 spots from 15 is the Louisville Cardinals. They're 8-1. They defeated Virginia Tech 34-3, sadly. The Cardinals have now won 10 consecutive home games, all by double digits. They'll play Virginia Thursday at 7:30 on ESPN. Louisville, make Lamar proud. Getting into the top 10 was a team that was ranked 11 last week, but after defeating Texas A&M 38-35 and moving to a beautiful 8-1 record, the Ole Miss Rebels find themselves in the top 10. Quishon Judkins rushed for 102 yards and 3 touchdowns in their victory. He now has 28 touchdowns rushing in the second most in program history. Unfortunately for Ole Miss, they will play the juggernauts, that is Georgia, so don't expect too much from them next week, but Ole Miss, you've had a good year. At number 9, same as they were last week, Penn State, the Nittany Lions. 8-1, they defeated Maryland, 51-15, blowout. They actually held Maryland to negative 49 yards. The fewest it has allowed since 1947. What the heck? Negative 49 yards, how do you even do that? How do you even do that? We might need to look at the stat sheet or something. Wow. Maryland, what are you doing? They'll play Michigan next Saturday at noon on Fox. So, bye-bye Penn State. Michigan's going to run through ya. Same as they were last week, Alabama at number 8. They're 8-1. Defeated LSU, as we mentioned earlier, 42-28. Jalen Milroy became the first Alabama quarterback to rush for 4 touchdowns in a single game. How about that, Jalen? You should become a running back now. But unless you want to be like Josh Dobbs and rush in for a touchdown, we'll take that if you're an Alabama fan at least. They'll play Kentucky at noon next Saturday. Alabama trying to squeeze their way into the football playoffs. We'll see if they can. Same as they were last week. Texas Longhorns at 7. They're 8-1. They defeated Kansas State in overtime, 33-30. They hung on. I mean, they avoided blowing a 20-point second half lead for the first time in school history. They'll play TCU next Saturday, but Texas, Archie Manning incoming. The number 6 Oregon Ducks, same as they were last week. Nothing's changed. They defeat Cal 63-19 while they put up 63 points. That's crazy. An 8-1 record for the year. Bo Nix threw for 386 yards and 4 touchdowns while also rushing for 2 touchdowns. And he's only the 3rd player in college football history with 90 career passing touchdowns and 35 career rushing scores. This guy's going to be a unit in the NFL, hopefully. They play USC next Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Not really much has changed when we come to our top 5. Actually, looking at it, top 8 teams, everyone's just remained the same, so nothing fun at the top, sadly. At number 5, we have the Washington Huskies, defeated USC 52-42. Dylan Johnson had 199 of his career-high 256 rushing yards before contact, even the most rushing yards before contact by a college football player in a game this season. They play Utah next Saturday. Washington, get ready for the playoffs. At number 4, we have the Florida State Seminoles, 9-0 still, defeated Pitt 24-7, and they clinched the spot in the ACC title game for the first time since 2014. They'll play Miami on ABC next Saturday. Good job keeping your number 4 spot, FSU. At number 3, Ohio State, they defeated Rutgers 35-16, 9-0 still, number 3 spot. Marvin Harrison Jr. has now caught a touchdown pass in 5 straight games as he scored twice to tie Chris Carter for 4th most receiving touchdowns in school history. They'll have a fun one against Michigan State next Saturday at 7:30 p.m. On NBC, they get the primetime game. At number 2, still doing their thing, Michigan Wolverines blow out Purdue 41-13, 9-0 still. They've won 27 consecutive regular season games, the longest streak in college football history. I believe at the moment, I don't know if of all time. Thanks to Blake Corum's 3 rushing touchdowns. They got Penn State next Saturday at noon. But man, doing their thing. And the juggernauts, the powerhouses. Number 1, Georgia, the Bulldogs, 9-0. Defeated Missouri 30-21, so Missouri did put up a fight. But the Dogs extended their winning streak to 26 games and 42 out of 43 games, by the way, thanks to 2 touchdown passes from Carson Beck. That's just incredible. They've won 42 of their last 43 games. That is quite the stat. We'll be looking ahead to next weekend for all the fun matchups, but man, college football is just so fun. I just always like this top 25 rankings and stuff. I find that so fascinating. And actually, college basketball going to be kicking off soon. I cannot wait till we get into March Madness time. That's going to be coming up soon. But there's so much hype this season. We get to see Bronny James, without a doubt, LeBron James' son. That's going to be a focal point, just personally for me. But as of right now, I mean, Kansas is currently ranked number 1 in their top 25. Duke at 2. Purdue at 3. Michigan State 4. Marquette's at 5. UConn's at 6. Houston at 7. Tennessee at 9. Arizona at 12. A couple of teams that are playing today. Miami 13th. Arkansas 14th. Texas A&M 15th. Kentucky 16th. South Dakota State 17th. South Dakota State always seems to do good in basketball. It's pretty crazy. Oh, wait, that's San Diego State, not South Dakota State. Wrong SDSU. Texas at 18, UNC 19, USC at 21, Villanova at 22 for Villanova, St. Mary's at 23, Alabama 24, and Illinois sneaking in there at 25. I wonder how Minnesota Gophers are going to do this year. I'll be interested to see. Just college football. College football comes to an end. College basketball kicks off. Currently, right now, Oregon leads Georgia 40-30. But yeah, we got a long time coming before we get any more. I always wait to get into middle of the season before we start actually analyzing everything to expect for the rest of the year. College basketball, very entertaining. College football, very entertaining. and we now know who's all in the college football playoffs. No, actually, not quite. There are still a few things that could happen, but I don't know. I feel like it's pretty set at the top 6 teams. We'll see what occurs in the final few weeks coming up now as November comes to an end. November rain, then December is upon us, and then Christmas. Very pumped for Christmas. One of the best times of the year. But I'll tell you what is my favorite part of the year. It's NFL time. I mean, NFL season. One of the best, if not the best sports. In my personal opinion, it's my favorite sport. Behind mixed martial arts, of course. But I mean, there's just something about football, especially the Vikings, that really builds my suspense. Like, I genuinely care how the Vikings do, which I love. And the Vikings have been doing their thing this year, surprising so many people. And Week 9 brought tons and tons of shocking moments. But I'm going to take a quick little break, and then I'll be back to break down every game that went down. Currently, we still have Monday Night Football in week number 9. Alrighty, so week, what are we in now? This is absolutely crazy. We're in week 9 now, aren't we? Week 9 of the NFL. It was a pretty good week. Week 9 brought a lot of highs, brought a lot of lows. As a Vikings fan, it brought some highs. But yeah, without a doubt, let's dive into every matchup and talk about some fancy performances, the standings, how every team's looking. It was a good week of football. We kicked things off on Thursday Night Football with a matchup between the Steelers and the Titans. A barn burner back and forth, 20-16. It goes to the Steelers. I didn't have them winning, but they did their thing. Okay, kudos to them. Kudos to the Steelers. They were able to get it done. They're now 5-3. Still minus 30 in the points for to points against, but nonetheless impressive as could be. I just want to make sure are these updated? Is this rankings updated? It is. Okay, just wanted to double check that. But yeah, Derrick Henry was pretty much the only good thing for Tennessee. Rushed for 75 yards and a touchdown and caught 3 catches for 27 yards. Will Levis, 262 yards and a pick. Wasn't necessarily having the best day. Personally, only 8 fantasy points. But Pittsburgh, man, they did their thing. Kenny Pickett, 160 yards and a touchdown. Najee Harris rushed for 69 yards and a touchdown. Actually, what's his name? Jaron Ward rushed for 88 yards. Deontay Johnson, 7 catches, 90 yards and a tutty. Jaron Ward, 3 catches, 25 yards. Like I said, it wasn't the most entertaining game, but Steelers get it done. At the end of the day, that's all you can ask for at times. Titans are now 3-5, minus 12-point differential. It's crazy to think that the Colts and Texans are doing better than the Titans, but that's just the world we live in now. Good job to the Steelers. Kenny Pickett, he looked decent. He looked decent. I will say he does not put up stats. He doesn't really put up stats. He just gets the job done. And this is one of the most awkward 5-3 teams I've seen on the year. But next weekend, Steelers will be hosting the Packers. So without a doubt, another winnable game for the Steelers. As for the Titans, back to the grind as they will be taking on I cannot find them, the Buccaneers. That's actually a winnable game there for the Titans. We'll see how things turn out for them. Heading into our next game, we have the Dolphins and the Chiefs in Frankfurt. Or was it in Frankfurt, Germany? I know it was in Germany. But Chiefs come out on top 21-14. They were up 21 rip at halftime and then proceeded to do nothing in the second half. They gave up 2 touchdowns, almost lost the game. But Chiefs, they get the victory and they remain atop the AFC. Good for them. That's all I can say. Dolphins, another tough loss. Dolphins are now, what are they? Dolphins are 6-0 against teams without a winning record and 0-3 against teams with a winning record. A perfect stat to keep in mind as we look forward every week. But Dolphins will actually go on a bye next week, as will the Chiefs. So both these teams will get a rest. But I mean, Chiefs 7-2 now. All right, 208 points for, 143 points against. Getting it done. That's all I can say. Dolphins still atop the AFC East. Jets, Bills coming up on them. But you know what? This is the best offense in the league. They have a plus 60 point differential. But you got to pull together at the end. You really got to pull it together. No real stars in the game. Patrick Mahomes had 15.8 fantasy points. Threw for 885 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rushed for 24 yards. I mean, Noah Gray, 3 catches, 34 yards, was the leading wide receiver. Kelsey only had 3 catches for 14 yards. Lone touchdown went to touchdown pass for Rashee Rice, and Jerick McKinnon also caught a touchdown. So check out 66 yards. Nothing much. Miami Tua, 193 yards and a touchdown. He was restrained, but Raheem Mostert, 14 fantasy points, 85 yards and a touchdown. He was doing all he could. Tyreek Hill led the day, 8 catches, 62 yards. Jeff Wilson Jr., 1 catch, 31 yards for a touchdown, was the only passing touchdown for Tua. This Dolphins team is not going to go far if they cannot beat winning teams. Their losses are now to the Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs. And unfortunately for them, those are teams that they will probably run into in the future if they continue on their winning ways. But as for the Chiefs, they've looked kind of rough these last 3 weeks. They just have not looked themselves. A bye week will treat both of these teams well as they assess what to do. But the Chiefs are easily going to win the AFC West by a long shot. I mean, the Raiders are 4-5, Chargers 3-4, Broncos 3-5. So Chiefs, even if the wins are sloppy, win's a win. Next up, we had the Ravens and the Seahawks, biggest blowout of the week. Ravens win 37-3. I had no idea what to make of that. I am so glad that I was not riding with them. I didn't pick the Seahawks to win that game, but man, Ravens looking good. 7-2 now, top of the AFC North by 2 games. They have a beautiful, they have 100. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. The Ravens might be the first team with with over 100 points, 4 points against. They have a plus 115 point differential. Wow. Plus 115 point differential. 4-game win streak. The defense was massive in this one. Holy cow. Leading rusher for Baltimore, K. Mitchell, rushed 9 times for 138 yards and a touchdown. Lamar rushed the most times, or actually he rushed for 60 yards. Justice Hill rushed for 40 yards. And Gus Edwards punched in 2 tutties, rushing for 52 yards. Love you, Gus. I freaking love Gus Edwards, man. I love him. Mark Andrews, 9 catches, 80 yards. Odell Beckham, 5 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. I honestly forget Odell's even in the league. Passing-wise, Lamar, 187 yards, and then T. Huntley came in, 38 yards, and a touchdown. So I don't know if Lamar got hurt. I do not know anything about that. I might check that out right now. I have no idea why Huntley was in the game. I'm actually very kind of interested to see this. Does anyone know if something's up? I don't think anyone's up. But man, Keaton Mitchell put up 20 fantasy points. I doubt a single human being had him on their fantasy team. There's just no shot. There's no shot. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he led the day for the Seahawks, 12.3 fantasy points on 6 catches for 63 yards. Kenneth Walker, 16 yards rushing. Charbonnet, 8. Geno Smith, 4. Geno threw for 157 yards and a pick. Wow, Ravens D came up massive in this one. My goodness. Seahawks, man, NFC, they're second now in the NFC West, tied at 5-3 with the 49ers, minus 4-point differential. Got to string some wins together if you guys want to compete. I don't really know what to tell you, but the Ravens are just scorching, looking beautiful week in and week out. This Ravens team could be something special. They'll be hosting the Browns next week, so a big defensive battle in that one without a doubt. And as for the Seahawks, they'll be taking on the Commanders, so a winnable game there for them. But I don't know. I don't know how it'll turn out if you guys perform like you did in this one. I will say, being on the road for the Seahawks always offers its challenges, especially when you're in Baltimore. But there's not really an excuse for losing 37-3. The offense was just held to nothing. Held to absolutely nothing. Let's keep moving along. Browns blow out the Cardinals 27-0. I don't even know what to make of that Cardinals team. They are just the worst team in the NFL. Browns, though, my goodness, what's going on? 5-3 now? You have almost a plus 50 point differential. I mean, the team found itself today. This Browns team looked amazing. They looked unstoppable. And now they're tied for second in the AFC North. 5-3 from the Steelers, Browns, and Bengals. AFC North, the best division in football currently. Just incredible stuff. My goodness. Let's talk about it. Amari Cooper giving me 24.9 fantasy points. Cleveland D, 23 points. Deshaun Watson, 18.96 fantasy points. Deshaun threw for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns, his best game of the year. Rushed for 22 yards. Kareem punched in a touchdown on 38 yards rushing. Amari Cooper, though, 5 catches, 139 yards and a touchdown. David Njoku even caught a touchdown on one of his 4 catches. Good stuff from Cleveland, man. If I'm a Browns fan, I'm feeling some hope from this one. I'm honestly feeling some momentum. I'm feeling maybe like a changing of the guard or something. I don't know. I ride this high. As a Vikings fan, when you have good weeks, you ride that high. So good for the Browns. Very happy for them. The Browns next week, I just mentioned them, didn't I? They'll be playing the Ravens. Big defensive battle there. We'll see what it brings. As for the Cardinals, you guys didn't even score. Toon, what's his freaking name? Josh Toon? I don't even know his name. What's their backup QB's name? Let's also find it. Jeff Driscoll? No. Should have played Jeff Driscoll, judging by how well they performed. It's Toon. It's Toon. What is Toon's first name? Is it Aaron? Is it Malcolm? Kyler Murray? No, not Kyler Murray. All right, so we have the third string. We have the first string. Oh my gosh, he didn't even pop up. His name didn't even pop up when I searched it up. Oh my goodness! So we're gonna have to look up AZQB. I mean, Cardinals. I have no idea what to even say. You guys are 1-8. That's just atrocious. That's absolutely atrocious. I mean, oof, just terrible. Clayton Tune, thank you, Clayton Tune, irrelevant as could be. Just putting up a pitiful performance. 58 yards on 11 completions, 2 picks. Rushing, I mean, Tune rushed for 28 yards. K. Ingram rushed for 8 yards. Leading wide receiver with 4 catches for 24 yards, Marquise Brown. Wow, best fantasy performer too, with 6.4 points. T. McBride, only 5.2 points. Really let me down there. I was expecting big things from him. But man, I mean, you're 1-8. You have almost a minus 100 point differential. Minus, not plus, minus. I mean, my goodness. This 6-game losing streak. But I mean, wow. Competing with the Panthers for the worst team in football is the Arizona Cardinals. Just atrocious. Next week, they will be playing. Who the Cardinals got next week? Anyone of Falcons? You know what? That's a winnable game, but I'm not going to pick them to win that game. Just atrocious. Game of the week, though. I mean, honestly, it probably was game of the week, maybe even game of the year. But honestly, I thought the Vikings game was more fun. Texans beat the Bucs 39-37. Just a wow. Who saw this one coming? This is just a crazy performance from C.J. Stroud in this game. Oh my goodness. Just let's go right into it. Let's go right to C.J. Stroud's stats. 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, a 40-second game-winning drive. Texans were unstoppable. Devin Singletary, 26 yards rushing, led the day. He actually went out, and who was it? I think it was Boone, who's their backup kicker, scored a field goal. I mean, just crazy stuff. Brown, who's Brown? Noah Brown, Noel Brown, or whatever. Brown for the Texans had 6 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown. No idea who that is. Dalton Schultz, 10 catches for 130 yards and a touchdown. He was, oh my gosh, just incredible. Nico Collins, 3 catches, 54 yards and a touchdown. Tank Dell, 6 catches, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. Doing their thing, man. CJ Stroud, 41.8 fantasy points. Tank Dell, 29.6 fantasy points. Noah Brown, I'm pretty sure it is, 27.3 fantasy points. I know this is a shame because let's not take away from the Bucs. They did their thing. Shad White rushed for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns. Baker threw for 2 touchdowns, 265 yards. Mike Evans, 4 catches, 87 yards. Odom, 6 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Palmer had 3 catches, 51 yards. I mean, man, oh man. What even, he started things out. Nico Collins tutty, Kate Odom tutty, Rashad White. Any picks from the Buccaneers D? Kind of confused. How they didn't, am I counting this up wrong? Am I doing my math? Were there a lot of field goals in this game? 2 touchdowns. That's 4. I have no idea. But yeah, just absolute barn burner. Texans pull it out in the win. Did not see that coming. Pull it out in the end. Texans, man, wow. 4-4. Second in the AFC South. Plus 22-point differential. Good for you guys. Good for them. As for the Bucs, just another week. You'll lose a close game. And it just adds up. 3-5 now. 4-game losing streak. Only minus 9-point differential. It's been a hard fall off from them, and they're now 2 games back from top of the NFC South. Going to need big things next week when they host the Titans. As for the Texans, I mean, keep the momentum rolling, gentlemen. Playing the Bengals, though, probably going to lose that one. But C.J. Stroud, you turned out to be probably the best QB from this past draft class, so good for you. Bears and Saints, I mean, this was close for a while. Saints edged it out in the end, 24-17. It was 14-14 and a half. Both teams got field goals in the third, but then it was a 3-yard touchdown pass from Taysom Hill to Juwan Johnson that sealed the game in favor of the Saints. But yeah, good performance from Taysom Hill in this one. This guy is a stud. This guy is really a stud, and it's honestly, he just runs the Saints. He runs the Saints for him. And as for the Saints, 5-4 now, 195 yards, 195 points for, 171 points against is what I meant to say, plus 24 point differential on a little 2-game win streak. Saints have been slinging it. As for the Bears, 2-7, minus, what is it up to now, 54 point differential. Holy cow, just in the bottom pack, just in the bottom half of teams this year. Not too hot to be a Bears fan. Sorry to my whole family. But yes, Derek Carr, 211 yards and 2 touchdowns. Taysom Hill had 1 throw for a touchdown, as I mentioned. He also rushed 11 times for 52 yards. Kamara rushed 9 times for 26 yards. Chris Olave, 6 catches, 46 yards and a touchdown, was doing his thing. Juwan Johnson got a touchdown. Taysom Hill even got a touchdown. He put up a crazy 20.62 fantasy points. He was doing his thing. Derek Carr, 16 fantasy points. Same for Olave. Cole Kmet, though, I mean, Tyson Bagent, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, was looking good. He looks like an FLQB. Dante Foreman rushed for 83 yards. Bagent was running 2 for 70 yards. Cole Kmet, 6 catches, 55 yards, and 2 touchdowns, had his 23 fantasy points. And you know what? Darnell Mooney even. He was he got 5 catches for 82 yards, was able to put up 13 fantasy points. Bears just tough. They've been looking better, but just still not enough. They'll play the Panthers on Thursday Night Football, and honestly, we'll lock in our prediction right now. We're going to ride with the Bears in that one. All right, I'm going to give the Bears the benefit of the doubt that they beat the Panthers on Thursday Night Football. Early predictions from Zachary right now. As for the Saints, Saints, keep it rolling. They play my Vikings, but we are definitely going to stunt you. All right, Vikings, we're the team. We're the top G's, whatever you want to call us. Let's talk about it. 31-28, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta too. Might I add, in Atlanta, we run through them. Just, oh my gosh. Josh Dobbs leading a comeback, leading a game-winning drive under 2 minutes. It just don't get any better than this. It does not. Oh my gosh. Josh Dobbs, 24.92 fantasy points. Madison, 17.3 fantasy points. First off, shout out to Atlanta. Jonnu Smith, 21 fantasy points. Young Hoo Koo, 19 fantasy points. Young Hoo Koo was their team. How many touchdowns did they score? Pretty sure they only scored 2 touchdowns. Yeah, 14. They had a safety. So Young Hoo Koo hit like 3 or 4 field goals. He was doing his thing. Not enough to stop the Vikings. It started off 3-3, then it was 8-3, then it was 11-3, then it was 11-10. 14-10, 14-13, 21-13, 21 tied up, and it was 24-21, 28-24, and then Joshua Dobbs doing his thing. Started off kind of sucky as Jaron Hall was looking good opening drive, 5 for 6, 78 yards, and then gets a concussion at the goal line. Quite honestly, right at the goal line, right before the touchdown, gets a concussion. Out for the game. Josh Dobbs comes in. Did lose 2 fumbles, but guess what? 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. He rushed for 66 yards and a touchdown. It was just amazing. My heart was so full. I love Josh Dobbs. I've mentioned it before. He's my boy, and he's starting for us against the Saints. Kevin O'Connell just announced. Madison, 44 yards rushing. He also had 2 catches for 49 yards and a tutty. He was looking good. Hawkinson, 7 catches, 69 yards. Jay Addison, 5 catches, 52 yards. Osborne got hurt, sadly. Cam Akers tore his Achilles. He's out for the year. And how about to Brandon Powell? 2 catches, 15 yards, the game-winning touchdown catch. I freaking love you, Minnesota Vikings, so much. I'll give some credit to our ops. We just beat Taylor Heineke, 268 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Was honestly looking very good for the Falcons. I'd ride with him over Desmond Ridder. Algier actually scored the only rushing touchdown, one touchdown on 39 yards rushing. Bijan, only 51 yards. We held him. But Jonnu Smith, 5 catches, 100 yards, a tutty, was looking good. Kyle Pitts, 4 catches, 56 yards. We held them in check, though. You know the Vikings. We stand on business. All right? According to Drewski, we stand on business. Vikings now 4-game win streak. We're 5-4 plus 16-point differential. Keep it rolling. We're in the playoffs as we speak. We're coming for the Lions. All right, let me tell you that. We're coming for the Lions. We got, we're better than the whole NFC South, better than the entire NFC West. We're good. The Vikings are coming for that Super Bowl, guys. I know it's a meme. Like, oh, you guys aren't going to win the Super Bowl. We're coming for the Super Bowl. I want it. Atlanta Falcons 4-5 now. You got 166 points, 492 against, 2-game losing streak. Yikes. Not fun to be an Atlanta fan. Let me just tell you that. But the Vikings next week, we host the Saints. We're going to run through them. As for the Falcons, they have a winnable game against the Cardinals. I mean, I don't know if I can physically pick the Cardinals the rest of the year. I just think for the sake of not trying to lose money, I don't pick them because the Cardinals are pretty bad. So are the Falcons. Vikings, we stand on business. Love you guys, Minnesota. Heading into our 3:30 games, might have been. No, Packers beat the Rams at some point yesterday, 20-3. No words, just no words. I can't believe you, Rams. Rams are on a 3-game losing streak, 3-6. Minus, like, where are they at now? They're up to, like, minus 26-point differential. Just an ugly performance. Good for the Packers, 3-5 now, third in the NFC North. Plus 1 point differential. Plus 1 point differential. Good for you guys. But pitiful performance. Pitiful performance from the Rams. They got a field goal in the second quarter from 52 yards, and that was it. That's all they did. Brett Ripon, 130 yards and a pick, looked terrible. Royce Freeman rushed for 32 yards. Darrell Henderson for 19, did nothing. And you can't do Cooper Kupp and Puka can't Tutu Atwell even. They can't do anything when you have a terrible QB. And we need to cut Ripon, man. The Rams need to cut Ripon. I could care less. Rams defense, the best scorer on the day with 7 points. Wow. Cooper Kupp had 6.8. Puka 6.2. Well, I'll give the Packers benefit of the doubt. You know what? Aaron Jones had 17.9 fantasy points. Luke Musgrave, 14.1. Jordan Love, 13.82. Jordan Love, 228 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones rushed for 73 yards and a touchdown. And Luke Musgrave, 3 catches, 51 yards and a touchdown. Good win for the Packers. Doing their thing. You won't beat the Vikings this year, but you can beat teams like the Rams, oddly. I don't even understand that. Rams get a bye next week. Really need to assess what you're going to do with your franchise. And as for the Packers, they will play the Steelers. So let me just lock that in as a Steelers pick because I hate the Packers. I said I was going to sometimes pick them this year. I take it back. Screw the Packers. My favorite pick of the week that I got correct. The Commanders beat the Patriots 20-17. I was very happy with that prediction. Sam Howell gets 17.7 fantasy points. Jahan Dotson, 16.9. Antonio Gibson, 12.6. Ramondre Stevenson, 22.9 for the Pats. Hunter Henry, 13.9. First good game since week 2. And Juju Smith-Schuster, 11.1. Doing his thing. Started off 10 rip for the Commanders, then went to 14-10 after 2 Patriots tutties. Second half kicked off. It was getting all tied up. And then Patriots D stood tall. Joey Sly hit a big field goal in the third. And nothing changed in the fourth. Commanders get it done. Mac Jones, 220 yards, touchdown and a pick. Hunter Henry caught that touchdown. Juju, 6 catches, 51 yards. Rashad Douglas, 5 catches, 51 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, though, rushed for 87 yards and a tutty. Zeke only had 17 rushes, not much. But, man, Commanders doing their thing. Sam Howell, 325 yards, touchdown and a pick. Brian Robinson rushed for 63 yards and a touchdown. How did Antonio Gibson, I think they have Gibson's name wrong because there's just Bijan should be the name that I said. So Bijan should be on there according to ESPN, but he's not. Antonio Gibson's still good. Scary Terry had 5 catches for 73 yards. Commanders coming out on top. Good for them. Commanders are now third in the NFC East, 4-5. Wow, still do have a minus 54 point differential. Gotta work on that. Pats, brutally bad. 2-7. Holy cow, they have a minus 93 point differential, minus 92 point differential. Hoofda, it is rough to be a Patriots fan. 2-game losing streak. Don't really. I have no advice for you. I have no advice. If you're a Patriots fan, just pray. That's all you can do. Pray your team does well. I doubt you guys are going to do anything. Commanders play the Seahawks next week in Seattle. Should be a tough one to win there. We'll see how they do. And as for the Patriots, they will play the Colts. So a winnable game, but I doubt they will win. Speaking of the Colts, they hold off the Panthers 27-13. Defense had 27 points, just ran through this Panthers offense, had nothing to do, nothing to offer like as a challenge. Jonathan Taylor, 17.9 fantasy points. Jonathan Taylor back to his winning ways. Michael Pittman, 14.4. Jumbo Hubbard, 10.7 points. Led the day for the Panthers in the fantasy department. But yeah, I mean, the game just started off bad and got ugly. I mean, it was 20-3, then it was 20-10, so some hope. But then once it went to 27-10, it was obviously over. Bryce Young, 1 touchdown, 3 picks on 173 yards throwing. Not going to get it done. DJ Chark caught the lone touchdown. Adam Thielen, 5 catches, 29 yards, was the leading target man. Leading receiver was Hayden Hurst, 2 catches, 54 yards. This Panthers team is terrible. Indiana, though, as I said, their defense had 27 points. It obviously led the day. I mean, they had a 66-yard interception return. Holy cow, I did not even realize this. Kenny Moore II had 2 pick sixes. That is player of the week. Shout out to Kenny Moore II. Colts defensive back of some sort, I assume. 2 pick sixes. That's incredible. That is incredible. But yeah, Indiana and Gardner Minshew threw for 127 yards and 1 touchdown. PFL just tweeted, "You could win a trip to see the baddest man on the planet in action. Come at PFL World Championship." For some reason, the winner gets announced at the PFL World Championship. No, that's super odd. Anyways, from that brief announcement, yeah. Jonathan Taylor rushed for 47 yards. Michael Pittman's 8 catches, 64 yards. Jonathan Taylor caught a tutty. I mean, yeah, defensive won it for the Colts. Good job, Colts D. Good job, Kenny Moore, actually. That's what I'll say. Panthers, where are we at now? Colts are 4-5. They have a, 232 points for, 242 against, so minus 10-point differential. Third in the AFC South, doing their best to stay in the battle. As we mentioned, the Colts will be taking on, who are they? The Patriots. So, you know what? Defensive battle in that one, I assume. As for the absolutely terrible Panthers, worst team in the league. They're now 1-7, right? They 1-7. What's their point differential? Bryce Young is clearly not the answer, honestly. 1-7, 140 points for, 226 against. Yikes. Ooh, that is just gross. That's just absolutely gross. To be a Panthers fan, it must suck, and they will be taking on they have a bye next week, the Bears on Thursday Night Football. So, yeah, Bears might actually have a chance to win a game. Huh? How about that? Heading round out our 3:30. Oh, actually, no, we have 2 more 3:30 games, but one of the 3:30 games was the Raiders beating the Giants 30-6. Holy cow. Giants are just terrible. Daniel Jones going out for the year with an ACL injury. So Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito will be leading the backfield for the Giants. Giants are 2-7. They finally crossed 101 points this week, so they have 101 points for, worst offense in the league. Still do have a minus 116-point differential. 2-game losing streak. Ugh, just gross. But hey, how about the Raiders? They make a GM change, head coach change. Head coaching change pays off. 4-5 now, second in the AFC West, doing their thing. Not a good point differential. It's in the minus 40s, but good job for the Raiders getting a win here. Saquon was the only good thing about the Giants. 14.3 fantasy points for him. He had 90 yards rushing and caught 3 catches for 23 yards. So good for him. Tommy DeVito, 1 touchdown on 2 picks. Yikes. Not pretty, but you know what, Tommy DeVito, you're probably with the mob, so good for you. I don't know if Tyrod Taylor's getting any more starts. Darius Slayton, 4 catches, 59 yards, did well. Just Wendell Johnson caught a touchdown pass. But let's give credit to this Raiders team. Aiden O'Connell, 209 yards. It was Josh Jacobs, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. So the rushing game got done. Defense got big. Tucker, leading wide receiver, 2 catches, 52 yards. Davante Adams, 4 catches, 34 yards. Get this man out of Las Vegas. Poor Davante Adams. Raiders next week will play the Jets. I'll have to see how the Jets perform tonight before I assess who I'm picking. As for the Giants, they will be playing Though the Cowboys, beautiful. I can lock in my Cowboys prediction right now, as there's just no way they lose to the Giants. Speaking of which, let's talk about what's the freaking called? Eagles and Cowboys. I just got big text in it. I just got jaw-dropping text about something. So yeah, that just interrupted me. Nothing huge, but I mean enough to make you stumble on your words. One of the best games of the week, Eagles and the Cowboys, 28-23, absolutely good game. Battle of two of the best in the NFL. Eagles come out on top 28-23. Eagles now best team in the league, 8-1, a beautiful 252 points, 495 against the 3-game win streak since getting upset by the Jets. Keeps it rolling. As for the Cowboys, still very good, 220 points, 448 against, 5-3. Not too bad for the Cowboys, but this was a close loss here. Dak Prescott, 28.36 fantasy points on 374 yards and 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 14 yards. That's 1.4 fantasy points. Let's not forget about that. But my goodness, Jalen Hurts, 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 25.8 fantasy points. Think about the decimals. And he also punched in a touchdown on 36 yards rushing. A.J. Brown, 7 catches, 66 yards. For a touchdown. He dropped 19.6 fantasy points. And Devontae Smith finally got in double digits as he caught 3 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. Thank you. DeAndre Swift only rushed for 43 yards, caught 2 catches for 31. I expected more, but I'll still take it. As for Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, 28.1 fantasy points. Jake Ferguson, 22.1. CeeDee Lamb, 11 catches, 191 yards, is just an animal. Jake Ferguson, 7 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown, is becoming a star. And Jalen Tolbert, not Austin Tolbert, caught a touchdown on one of his 3 catches for 40 yards. And Turpin, 1 catch for 1 touchdown. Good for him. But Eagles D came up big in the end, was able to stop the Cowboys on their final game-ending throw. Good win for the Eagles. They'll meet again, though. This isn't the last time they will meet. I don't know when they play next, but I'm pretty sure they do. Eagles get a bye next week. As for Cowboys, right back to it with the Giants. Should be able to bounce back in that one. And since this has gone on so long, let's get into our final game of last night. A banger on Sunday Night Football. Bengals beat the Bills in the revenge game, 24-18. It was a revenge game for the Bills. Bengals are cooking, actually. Bengals are on a 4-game win streak. They find themselves at 5-3, only a -7 point differential. Good for them. Bills now 3rd in the AFC West, 5-4, despite having a +80 point differential. Wow. Just those tough losses, man. They add up. The tough losses add up. Oh, my goodness. Fortunate stuff for the Bills, but Josh Allen, 24.72 fantasy points. Stephon Diggs, 22.6. Dalton Kincaid, 16.1. As for the Bengals, Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, 22.32 fantasy points. T. Higgins, 19, and Joe Mixon, 17.8. I was all about T. Higgins going off. Joe Burrow, 348-yard game, 2 touchdowns, was looking good. Joe Mixon rushed for 37 yards and a touchdown, caught 5 catches for 31 yards. And T. Higgins, 8 catches, 110 yards. Jamar Chase, only 4 catches for 41 yards. And the tight end sample. And actually, Irv Smith Jr. caught a touchdown. And Drew Sample caught a touchdown. So irrelevant people catching touchdowns. As for Buffalo, Josh Allen, 258 yards. Throw in 1 touchdown, a pick, rush for 44 yards and tutty. James Cook, only 20 yards rushing. Stephon Diggs, have another Stephon Diggs day. 6 catches, 86 yards and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, though, 10 catches, 81 yards. Looking good. And Shakir had 4 catches for 57 yards. Gabe Davis, no catches. I don't even know if he got targeted last night. But, hey, it was a close one. Bengals come out on top. Wow, not much to say for that. Bills will play the Broncos on Monday Night Football next week. Lock in a Bills pick for me. And as for the Bengals, they will be playing the Texans. And I do not think they will stop there. We'll pick the Bengals for an early prediction in that one. But yeah, good win for the Bengals. They're going to keep things rolling. Man. Tell you what, though, as for this Monday Night Football game, to round out this NFL Week 9 or recap, if you will, I'm going to need some big thing. Actually, Justin Herbert, I need the Jets D to get like 27 points. And honestly, Justin Herbert can get 13 points. I don't know. So many scenarios. I'm going to win one matchup for sure. I'm currently winning in 2, but I don't know. We'll see what occurs tonight in this matchup between the Chargers and the Jets. That game starts at 7:15. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch it, but should be a fun one nonetheless. And now that we've wrapped up all of our NFL talk, there's only one thing left to talk about. My favorite thing of every episode. Do I mention that? Have I ever mentioned that? That I love talking about the UFC. My goodness, UFC Sao Paulo went down this past weekend on Saturday. We only had 11 fights as 2 fights sadly fell through to my dismay. Ishmael Bonfim versus Vink Pichel and another one on the prelims. Sadly, sad but true, but it is what it is. We're going to be talking about every single one of those fights in a second. Hang on. Hold on to your hats and get your UFC tea ready. I don't even know what that means, but it means something. Alrighty, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into it. UFC Sao Paulo went down this weekend in Brazil. The fight night between Almeida and Derek Lewis. It was amazing-ish. Some of the fights were good, some of the fights were bad. We're going to talk about all of them. Kicking us off with our first prelim, our first fight of the evening. We had a matchup between Mark Diakise and Cal Fernandez. Cal was making his UFC debut. He did lose by split decision, but certainly didn't look too bad. Mark Diakise snapped a 2-fight losing streak and a must-win if you wanted to stay in the UFC. Round 1, name of the game for this fight. First off, let me just say, Cal outstruck him 23-13 significant-wise, 67-65 total-wise, but it was the 8 minutes and 38 seconds of control time which won it for Mark Diakise. Round 1, Cal doing well in the striking. He landed a takedown. Mark landed a takedown, but Mark did 2.5 minutes of control time. Cal only did a minute. So that was the round he could have won. Cal Fernandez, round 2, a decent round striking-wise, 10-4 significant, 20-16 total. Mark 1 for 4 on takedowns for 2 minutes and 50 seconds of control time. Then round 3, Mark 3 minutes and 15 seconds of control time on 1 for 3 takedowns. Gets it done. Split decision, 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27. So, Mark, good win for you. Cal, tough loss. But, it wasn't really a good fight to kick off the night, but nonetheless, win's a win's a win. Getting into our next fight for women's strawweight, another one that I actually predicted this one right. Eduarda Mora beats Montserrat Cornejo Ruiz by round 2 TKO. It was dominant. It was destructive. Montserrat now sadly on a 3-fight losing streak. All 3 of those fights she's been finished in. But man, oh man, Eduarda Mora, man, how about that? Making your UFC debut, coming off of the Contender Series from this past season, just utter domination. Round 1. 32-3 significant strikes, 70-7 total strikes, 2 for 2 on takedowns for 4 minutes and 23 seconds. The grappling was insane. Round 2, only needed 2 minutes into it to get rid of Montserrat. 25-2 significant strikes, 32-2 total strikes, 1 for 1 on takedowns for a minute and a half of control time. She got into mount, laid on her with the punches. Good win for Eduarda Mora. Man, oh man, good win for Brazil. Right there, let me just say, it's just up from here. If you're in the women's strawweight division and you're getting big finishes, you got to start looking up because that's where they'll send you. They'll send you up there quickly before you even know it. But, good win for Eduarda. Happy to see her getting the victory over Montserrat. And there was a time that Montserrat was debuting, beating Cheyenne Villasmas. Those days are over. She's now been knocked out in 3 straight fights. Tough. That's all I can say. Heading on to our next and last women's fight of the night. Same division, women's strawweight. Angela Hill keeps her number 12 spot in the women's strawweight division rankings as she beats Denise D. Gomez. Angela outstrikes her 76-62 significantly. Total strikes in favor of Denise Gomez, 111-96. It was name of the affair again, a grappling win for Angela Hill, 5 of 9 on takedowns for 8 minutes of control time, 1 for 3 for Denise for only a minute. Round 1, Denise outstruck her, but, got taken down for 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Round 2, Angela actually outstruck her and took her down, so big plus there. And round 3, Angela, 3 for 4 on takedowns for 4 minutes of control time. Dominates her, 23-6 significant strikes. Angela Hill gets the win. Good win for Angela. She's now 3-1 her last 4 fights. Denise Gomez, this sadly snaps a 2-fight winning streak for her. Tough to see, but you know what? She's 2-2 in the UFC. This next one will be a big one to determine if she sticks around. Angela, though, big win. Currently ranked number 12. I don't really see her fighting up with a win like this. She'll probably fight down. I don't know what's next for you, Angela. Could be someone out of the rankings. How about we give her Eduarda Mora, just because I saw her, and just because she fought right before her. So there you go. There's a potential fight you can make. But Denise Gomez, she'll stick around, just not moving up the rankings. Finally, we get to some real action here as Vitor Petrino took on Modestas Bukauskas and knocked him out cold with a beautiful punch a minute into round number 2. This was a good one at light heavyweight. A performance bonus, too, to Vitor Petrino. Round 1, I mean, the exchanges were looking pretty even, but Vitor, not liking getting stung, took down Modestas, 1 for 2 on takedowns for 2 minutes of control time. Just a casual round 1, but round 2, striking. Vitor catches him with a punch. Beautiful. It was like a hook jab. You know, it's kind of awkward to say. Hook jab right to the face. Modestas goes down, out cold for a second. Ref calls it. Vitor Petrino remains undefeated at 10-0. And in the UFC, 2 finishes. The third fight, a fight of the night victory. Vitor Petrino is legit, man. He's not a fraud at all. 10-0. He's perfect. And honestly, of all the frauds, I thought he was going to end up being one. His win over Marcin Petrino was pretty sloppy. So was the one against Anton Turkaljic. So was the one against Rodolfo Bellato. But now this is a legit win over a legit guy, Modestas Bukauskas. Vitor, soon you'll be looking up. The light heavyweight rankings are calling your name. Honestly, give him Dominic Reyes. Let's throw Vitor Petrino in the mix. I'm ready for it. Modestas Bukauskas sucks. His 2-fight winning streak was snapped, and that was just in the UFC. It was probably I think it was actually 4 fights professionally. That's just the name of the game. Modestas, he'll be back. All right, Modestas Bukauskas will be back, and Vitor Petrino, man, he will be back. Good way to get the night going, and it was only up from here, at least for some fights. But yeah, Vitor Petrino, throw him in the mix. I'm not scared to throw her in the mix. I'm really not. If I'm being honest, this performance has me more set on the abilities of Vitor Petrino than I was before it went down. Another stunner in the next one as Rinat Fakhretdinov and Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos fight to a majority draw. They had a draw. It was an interesting fight. Did not see that one coming. Let's talk about it here, all right? So, totals for the fight. Rinat Fakhretdinov landed a knockdown. All right, 1 knockdown for him. 87-75. Significant strikes in favor of Rinat. 115-109 total strikes, though, in favor of Eliseo Zaleski. 0 for 1 on takedowns for Eliseo. He had 1 minute and 24 seconds control time, all in the third round. As for Rinat, 1 for 9 on takedowns, was stuffed over and over for 4 minutes and 25 seconds of control time. Round 1, Rinat almost knocked a second straight opponent out in the opening minute. Could not finish Eliseo, though. Big round 1. I actually probably would have scored it at 10-8 for Rinat. He looked pretty dominant. 37-10 significant strikes, 47-14 total strikes, a 60% significant striking percentage. And yeah, dominant round 1 for Rinat Fakhretdinov. Round 2, though, it was closer. Eliseo getting back there, landing some big strikes. 27-22 significant strikes in favor of Rinat, 32-25 in favor of Rinat as well for total strikes, 1 for 4 on takedowns for 1 minute 13 seconds. Rinat just casually won round 2. Then we headed into round number 3, and Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos turned up the heat. 43-23 significant strikes, 76-30 in total strikes. Almost dropped him with a body shot. Rinat was hanging on for dear life, getting his face pounded in. I thought he was going to be finished. He survived. 2 of the judges saw it as a 10-8 for Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos, which it was, unfortunately. So we get a draw here. Huge comeback for Eliseo, and honestly, Rinat faded. Man. Eliseo, he was a tough competition, proved durable, and 3-fight unbeaten streak now for Eliseo. 2 wins, 1 draw here. As for Rinat Fakhretdinov, 21-1-1, and he had been on a 20-fight win streak. Okay, so this made things very, very interesting here. You know, still unbeaten. This does not count as a loss, but, you know, this certainly opened my eyes to how good Rinat is. He's currently ranked number 15th at welterweight. He'll probably maintain his spot. Do we run this fight back? No. I honestly think we have or not move up and fight someone like Michael Chiesa. Someone like, actually, Michael Chiesa is a perfect fight for Renat. Let's do that. I'm not even going to mention that again. But as for Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, a veteran like Santiago Ponzinibbio could provide some very good fights, very good opportunities there for him. But yeah, some interesting prelims. I predicted only one of them correct. Thank you, Eduardo Mora. The draw does not count as anything. And then we got into the main card, and I did pretty good. I did pretty good on my main card predictions. As we all know, all main card predictions are official. I went 4-1, only one incorrect pick, which was the biggest upset of the night, maybe even of the month. We're now 223-71 on the year, and all-time 494-348. So on the year, not doing too shabby, up pretty big. Hopefully in the next what? What are there? There's 1, 2, 3. There's 5 events left of 2023. There's a potential I could move up to plus 200 on the year for main card predictions. We'll see, though. Let's talk about it. We kick things off with a fight that was supposed to be on the prelims, but was bumped up since Ishmael Bonfim can't make weight. Dude's an absolute bum. Actually, no, it wasn't that. He got sick backstage. That's what it is. Ishmael Bonfim got sick backstage, I'm pretty sure. And they called off the fight. I believe that's what happened, if I'm remembering correctly. But nonetheless, Elvis Brenner versus Kanan Koreski was moved up to the main card, and it did not disappoint. Elvis Brenner knocks him out in 4 minutes. It was such a clean shot. Clipped him right on the ear. Knocked Kanan out cold. He gets a performance bonus. And man, oh man, Elvis Brenner's stock just rose tremendously. This was a huge victory for him. I could not be more proud. I cannot be more proud of Elvis Brenner. And here's a dude who was seemingly kind of irrelevant. You know, he debuted in February, beat Zubara Tuagov by split decision. There was no hype. No hype whatsoever around him. There was just, it was just another fighter getting it done. But man, in July, upset Guram Kudladze, came back down 2 rounds. And here, he's knocking out a guy in Kanan Koreski who's just as legit as he is, knocking him out cold. One of the nastiest knockouts of the year. Elvis Brenner, you dog. And he trains with Charles Oliveira. That's a plus. Charles Oliveira's my boy. As for Kanan, he had came from Dana White's Contender Series, took this fight on short notice. Name of the game. He's 15-2, though. He's 15-2. This won't hurt him too much. He'll be back. But Elvis Brenner, wow. I do want to throw him in the lightweight mix, but not all the way. Not all the way to the top. I'm thinking someone like Claudio Puelles, someone like Joe Olivares, maybe even, gosh, who did Drew Dober just knock out? Whoever Drew Dober just knocked out. Maybe Grant Dawson even. Grant Dawson could be a good fight for Elvis Brenner. But I'm happy about this. I like the fight. Elvis Brenner, you're a dog. Next up, we had Kyle Borralho versus Abus Magomedov. Man, oh man, Abus Magomedov makes no sense. He's an interesting fighter. That's all I have to say. Kyle Borralho beats him by unanimous decision, moving Kyle Borralho to a perfect 5-0 in the UFC, 7-0 if you count both of his Contender Series victories, and his win streak goes on even before he got in the UFC. As for Abus Magomedov, 2-fight losing streak. Unfortunate for him. Let's kick it off. First off, Kyle landed a knockdown in the 3rd round, outstruck him significantly, 51-38, total strike 70-39, 2 minutes and 17 seconds of control time. Kyle really improved here, showing off the striking. I was fairly surprised with it. Round 1 just barely edged him out, 11-7 in both total and significant, just casually winning. Round 2 though, much closer. Abus 21-20 striking battle. If there was going to be a round he won, it was probably this one. And then round 3, Kyle turned it up. 2 minutes and 17 seconds control time after dropping him. 38-12 total strikes, 19-11. It's just a typical win over a tough guy in Abus Magomedov. And Kyle Borralho gets it done. And honestly, let's rank them. Anthony Hernandez or Chris Curtis, they're 14-15. Let's throw Kyle Borralho on there at 15 or 14. And Let's give him a top 10 guy. Okay, you know what? I'm feeling Jack Hermanson at number 8. Jack Hermanson at number 8 for Kyle Borralho. I like that fight for him. Because, Chris Curtis has got stuff booked. Paul Craig has stuff booked. Nazardine, Calvin, Brendan. He's not fighting Hamzat. He called out Dricus du Plessis, but Dricus is fighting for the belt now, so nowhere in his league will he be. But Kyle Borralho picking up a big one here. As for Abus Magomedov, gosh, I don't know what to do with him. He needs to really assess stuff because he has all the tools to be good, But clearly a fraud. Clearly a fraud. We're having him fight tough guys, so maybe we give him an unranked guy. How about that? Let's have Abus get a pick-me-up fight. That'd do him pretty freaking good. But Kyle Barallo, good freaking win, man. Very happy for you. Jacker Manson fight could be waiting for you in the future. We'll see what happens next for the natural. But yeah, big winning streak for him. Then, yet again, we had another boring unanimous decision. I mean, this is where the card started to dwindle. Not the best Brazilian card. Rodrigo Nascimento beats Dontel Mays by unanimous decision. And honestly, it's weird looking back on it, at the stats. I mean, significant strikes in favor of Dontel Mays, 79-70. Total strikes in favor of Dontel, 105-91. Rodrigo goes 0 for 3 on takedowns. Dontel 0 for 1. Round 1, though, Rodrigo outstruck him 41-35. Round 2, Dontel outstrikes him 36-30. Round 3, Dontel outstrikes him 34-20. But as you were watching it, you could just tell that Rodrigo was winning. You could just tell that Rodrigo Nascimento was getting the better of Dontel in their little rematch, which was just, I mean, I would say not necessary, but it doesn't really matter because they're both kind of just irrelevant heavyweights. Rodrigo, though, gets the win and is now on a little 3-fight winning streak, all by decision, though. All close fights. As for Dontel Mays, he is 1-2 with a no contest his last 4 fights. I don't know what to say, but you know what? Rodrigo Nascimento was actually ranked. He was ranked number 14th. So how about we have him fight the guy right above him, Alexander Romanov. Good fight for him. Or even number 11, Marcin Tybura, depending what we want to do next with the division. Interesting stuff. I mean, not really much to say. I mean, Rodrigo and Dontel didn't really do anything necessarily what am I trying to say? Overwhelming. They just got to win. Nothing much to say. Good job, Rodrigo, winning in Brazil. How about you fight Alexander Romanov? Good for you. How about that? And let's talk about this co-main event, because this was the biggest upset of the night, maybe even of the year. This is on the yearly upset right here, as Nicholas Dalby beats the undefeated 15-0 Gabriel Bonfim absolutely crazy. Let's talk about it. Round 1, all Gabriel. Everything you'd expect. Gabriel Bonfim outstrikes him 34-22, 30-16 significant-wise. 1 for 1 on takedowns for 2.5 minutes of control time. Gabriel was looking dominant. All right, he was looking dominant. And I don't know if it's just because he had finished all of his past fights in round 1, a lot of them. I mean, he had a fight in the Contender Series and 2 UFC fights, all finished them in round 1, didn't really go far. And, he had a couple opportunities to finish Nicholas, but Dalby hung in there. He was tough. And then round 2 comes around. All right, we're standing on the feet. We're banging. All right, and towards the end of it, towards the final 2 minutes, final minute, Dalby starts hitting him with some knees in the clinch, drops him. All right, starts laying on the punches, laying into him. Bonfim, he's trying to survive. The ref steps in with 27 seconds left in round number 2, and Gabriel Bonfim gets upset by Nicholas freaking Dalby, the Danish Dynamite. Wow. Just wow. Nicholas Dalby, you are just an absolute dog. Somehow proved himself. He was able to rally. He's picking up a massive win here as an underdog, undefeated as an underdog in the UFC. He's now riding a 4-fight win streak. And honestly, he's picked up some wins over Claudio Silva, Walray Alves, Muslim Sleekoff, the biggest one here over Gabriel Bonfim. Let's not talk about it. Since 2019, I mean, this is his second stint in the UFC. He had a brutal one from 2015 to 2016, but since 2019, he is 6-1 with a no contest. I mean, this guy is legit. Somehow, I mean, I was sleeping on him, but Dalby proved me wrong. And let's give him a ranked opponent. All right, let's check out the welterweight rankings. They're kind of crowded, but I'm sure we can find someone. For you to fight Dalby. I mean, maybe Michael Chiesa, maybe Renat Fakrdinov, but I'm looking at number 12, Kevin Holland. That could be a fun fight. Kevin Holland really only does fun fights, and Dalby could prove as a good opponent. Winnable for both men. That's what I think we do next, man. But Nicholas Dalby, what an upset. I don't even know what to say next for Gabriel Bonfim. One of the brothers, the Ishmael Bonfim, gets sick before his fight, and Gabriel gets finished after winning round 1. Wow. One of the bigger upsets of the year. Good job, Nicholas. The Danish Dynamite moves on. And then we had our main event, and all the highs we had from the night just dwindled, man. This was brutal. This was one of the first fight nights I turned off. I was in the bar. I was living it up, having a good time, so I was watching on my phone. This was atrocious. I mean, 50-44, 50-44, 50-45. Halton Almeida beats Derek Lewis by unanimous decision. He actually set a record for most control time in heavyweight history, fourth most in UFC history, with 21 minutes and 10 seconds of control time for 5 rounds. Oh my gosh, 6 of 15 on takedowns. Derek Lewis actually went over 2 on takedowns for almost a minute of control time. He was trying to do anything he could to survive. Halton Almeida, 38-20, significant strikes in favor of him. 120-28 total strikes in favor of Halton Almeida. Just embarrassing. It was just not it. Just not it. That's all I can say. All right, round 1, 4 minutes and 36 seconds of control time. Just could not put Derek away. Derek Lewis just would not get submitted. 4 submission attempts. He had 2 in round 1, 2 in round 2. Round 2, 4 minutes and 19 seconds of control time. Derek Lewis only landing 1 significant strike. Round 3, just control time for Halton Almeida. 3 minutes, 57 seconds on 1 takedown. Round 4, 4 minutes and 23 seconds, 1 takedown. In round 5, Derek Lewis's best round. As Halton Almeida didn't even land a significant strike, he just took him down twice and out-grappled him. Just did nothing even to say. Halton Almeida literally just walked across the octagon every time and took down Derek Lewis. And then did nothing with it. Just couldn't do anything. Embarrassing, which sucks because Halton Almeida, he's now 20-2 on a ridiculous win streak. I mean, he's a perfect 6-0 in the UFC now, but nothing to say. Derek Lewis, 1-4 now, his last 5. 2-6 his last 8. It's not been pretty for Derek, but he took this on short notice, and honestly, he's in the exact same spot he was before he took this on short notice. Plus, he got a paycheck, all right? He got a bag to travel to Brazil and not even get finished. So, props to Halton. I mean, you were ranked number 9. I'm obviously moving you past Tai Tuivasa, past Sergey Spivak. I'm moving Halton Almeida up to the number 7 spot in the rankings, personally, and then I'm giving him Curtis Blades or Alexander Volkov. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, it wasn't a pretty win, but he did what he needed to. All right, he did what he needed to against a knockout artist. He got the victory in his second fight night, actually. He fought earlier this year in a main event. And, good win for him. As for Derek Lewis, you're currently ranked 10. No one really deserves to pass you. And someone like Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Justin Tafa, even Marcos Rogero de Lima, who not Marcos Rogero de Lima, Rodrigo Nascimento. Someone like him, just give anyone to Derek Lewis. He'll fight him. That's who he's going to be the rest of his career. But Almeida getting it done. He'll be fighting a top 5 guy next. Hopefully. He deserves it. Maybe Volkov, run back the Blades matchup. I don't know, but certainly not a entertaining fight. I'll tell you what is going to be entertaining, though, this upcoming Saturday, because we got UFC 295 Prochaska versus Pereira for the vacant light heavyweight championship. This is going to be incredible. It's going to be such a good card. I'm so pumped for it. It gets me going. It gets my chest pumped up. My goodness. Going down at Madison Square Garden in New York City. I'm all here for it. Just a banger main card. I mean, you get Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall. Jessica Andrade and Mackenzie Dern, big opportunity here for Mackenzie Dern. Matt Frivola and Benoit Saint-Denis, 2 incredible lightweights, and 2 good featherweights, Diego Lopez and Pat Sabatini. And we're all about new stars here, okay? Steve Erceg, Alessandro Costa, 2 incredible flyweights on the prelims, all right? Tabitha Ritchie, Lupi Godinez, 2 incredible women's strawweights. Mateusz Rebecki and Narulo Alev at lightweight. That fight might have fell through, but we'll see. Nazim Sadikov and Vyacheslav Borshev, 2 incredible lightweights. Jared Gordon is finally back, finally going to maybe get a fight in here. He's going to be taking on Mark Madsen. Mark Madsen's first fight since losing last November. You also get John Costetta and Kyung Ho Kang, Joshua Van and Kevin Borjas, 2 incredible flyweights, and Des Bazukja and Jamal Emmers. These are going to be some interesting prelims. I'll be watching them all, and this main card is just a cherry on the top. I'm pumped for that, but we got to wait a week, sadly. All right, but Thursday, we'll be doing an entire pre-show, breaking down all the fights, all my predictions, as we haven't been too bad lately. Also, next Thursday's episode 40, we're going to be ranking my top 10 trilogies, going over predictions for Week 10 of the NFL, and we'll cook up a surprise topic. We'll cook up a bunch of stuff. But yeah, that's all I got for today's episode. Recapping UFC Sao Paulo, recapping Week 9 of the NFL, all sorts of fun stuff. was a good time. And thank you guys for listening. Always happy, always open for any feedback. If you guys want to say anything, I'm always here to talk about anything. All right. Hit me up. Follow me on all the socials, the Instagrams. Follow Evergrowing Co. Evergrowing Co. IBE is my company. If you want to buy a sweatshirt, check out the website. And Hoist, sponsor me. I like your drinks. I'll continue to tag you until you sponsor me, and until I just forget to. So, drink Hoist, follow Zachary, and praise Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, have an amazing week. I'll talk to you.